Welcome to Learning Ladder of C language. In this tutorial, we are going to discuss about the functions in C language. Before we are moving to the function implementation in C programming language, first we should know what is meant by function and what is the need of the function in C and how the functions are worked in C. First, let's see what is meant by function. Function is a set of statements that were written for the repeated execution of the code, and these statements are referred with a name. It's known as the function name. So these functions are used for the repeated execution in C language whenever we are required to execute that code. In C language, these functions are classified into two types. One is predefined functions and other one is user defined functions. Before we are moving to the user defined function implementation, first in this tutorial let me discuss about the predefined functions. So now let's see what is the need of this function in C language. To get an idea about what is the need of the functions in C language, let's take a small example. Here I am writing a small coding to add two numbers and to print a value. So first let's compile this program. I am entering a value, then by giving an enter we are getting a result, and automatically the program is terminated. If suppose I am in the position to add more than one different values at a same program, in the sense, then we have to write the same coding once again. If suppose I need to add 10 different values, in the sense, then we have to write the same coding for 10 times. So this type of coding gives a burden to the program developer. For this reason, the C gives a flexibility of functions to reduce the burden of the programming. So by using function, I declare a function with the name add. Inside this, I am going to pass the values that we are required to add. So then in other end, I'm going to write a coding for this, like k equal to. So whenever we are passing in values to the function, it's going to do the addition and going to return. So if suppose by using a function we can do n number of additions by different values in the same program. For this reason the functions are came to the picture. So by using functions we can reduce the programming burden, and this function gives some flexibility of reusability of the same code for the different values. This is the main use of the functions in C language. Now let's see how the functions are worked in C language. Before we are moving to the working functions of functions in C language, let me take a small predefined functions for our examples. Now let me take the printf function for the explanation. Here this printf, scanf, main, these are all the main functions that are written predefinedly. So these are called as a predefined functions. If suppose we are writing and code for our application by our programmer itself, in the sense, then it is known as the user defined functions. Here add is a user defined function because this add is here declared for the sake of the programmer use, so it is known as the user defined function. This printf and scanf and main, these functions are the predefined functions that are written by the program developer, the software developer. Now let's see how the functions are worked in C language. For our understanding purpose, let me draw a small diagram too for a better understanding purpose. Let's take a small example with the main function, and I am calling the printf function the main function. How this flow of execution is done? If suppose we are calling some functions, in the sense, first the program will start executing from the top of the main function, and it execute from top to bottom. So while this program compiler encodes a printf statements, automatically the control of this compiler will goes to the printf function where it is written. Here this printf statement with semicolon says that it's a function call. So this function call, when compiler identifies, directly search for the function with respect to this function name printf, and this printf definition is written somewhere in the compiler. So it goes to the control of the compiler will goes to this printf function where it is defined. So then after executing the statements that we declared in this printf functions, then once again this control will comes back to the main function where it is stopped. So now let me explain how this control is exchanged from printf main function to the printf function and printf function once again to the main function. How the C compiler knows where it is existed from the main function, where it is diverted from the main function. In every programming language, to store a data structure algorithm is used. If suppose you have an idea about data structures, then it is easy for you to understand. In C language, by default, for the function call, the stack data structures were used. The property of the stack data structure is the last in will come out first. So it look like an cylinder. Suppose the values will be stored from bottom to the top, and the value while we are retrieving the first data will be returned that the last data that we are entered. So in here last in will be come out first. While we are calling a function, automatically C compiler opens a stack data structure memory. In this first the values that we are passing in the function will be stored in the stack memory. Then similarly the values that we are passing to the function will be stored step by step by bottom to top level, and once these arguments are finished, then the address of the particular function will be stored. Here the address of the particular function will be stored. So this address refers that where this control of the compiler is changed from the main function to the printf function. So after doing this complete execution of this coding that we declared in the printf statement, so result of that code will be existed after this address. So here the result will be executed at the top of the stack memory. So once this complete execution is done, first the result will be returned to the program, and then the address of a particular function will be returned. So by referring this address, the C compiler identifies where the control was changed from the main function to the particular function. So by using this address, the C compiler comes back exactly where the control has changed. So this address is given for the PC, that means a program counter. So by using the program counter, the C compiler encodes that where it is stopped. Suppose we have an idea about microcontroller, microprocessor, then we can know what is the program counter. So this is the internal flow how the functions are executed in C language. So while we are calling a function, then automatically the control will be changed from the main function to the particular function. Once the code or statement that are declared in the function will be executed, then the control return back to the main function where it is passed. So this is done in the C compiler internally. So that's all about the basics of the functions in C language. What is the function and need of function, and how the functions are work. The next tutorial, it will discuss how to utilize these functions in the programming in C language. Thank you. Don't forget to subscribe to get alert for the next tutorial.